Hello, everybody.
Hello, it's Morten from Inkish.
And the accent, I love it.
I'm here with Erik.
Erik. So do I speak
I
like
had
that?
to do that.
So with no further ado, Erik Wessel.
How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
I mean, Americans, you just love abbreviations, right?
What's that?
You love abbreviations. CXO, CMO, CEO.
Oh, acronyms, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Acronyms, abbreviations.
Abbreviations.
Acronyms, yeah, abbreviations.
Should I just expose myself being dominant and keep it in, or yeah, okay, why not?
I
Okay.
mean, you sounded smarter than I did. I was
CXO,
like, what?
CXO.
Yeah, CXO.
Chief Experience Officer.
Yeah, at Taktiful. Yeah, I've been in the role for about going into my second year now. So super exciting. It's been a big shift for me, as you know. I was on the media side for many years. So having a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's the journey. I mean, when I heard your and Kevin's presentation this morning, I think it's a bold, but I also think it's a great journey you're on, because it's basically, of course, having a business where you can make money yourself, but it's also about how the industry and the printers who invest and understand the value of embellishment basically can make more money, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I think one of the core things about Taktiful is, yeah, we're trying to create a business, but we're also trying to create a community, and we're trying to raise everybody's print opportunities and ROI. And we really feel strongly that we've sort of gotten away from print sort of for many years, for 20 years as we watched the industry. We focused on speed, right? We focused on efficiency, we focused on cost, and we drove the price of print down. So what we say, and we just launched something called the Digital Embellishment Manifesto, thank you for signing on. It's a movement to take print back to its tactile origins, right? Because print has always been tactile. Why? Because paper is tactile. So what we did was we said to the market, print is cheap, and you know what? They believed us.
And that basically helped squeezing the prices down, because there was no discussion about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you have made a point in your panel. There's a place for commodity print, right? Like everything's not going to be embellished. Everything's not going to be fancy, right? But there's an opportunity now in this embellishment
you even
space.
proved it through the research of both NAPCO and your former What They Think,
sure.
right? Where you basically say that the opportunity is there, because until, let's say, the critical mass has the opportunities that, for example, the Revorias have, basically that is like an extra revenue opportunity. Right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The technology is starting to enable us to go back to that tactile nature, right? To get really back to it, because it's no longer just ink on paper, right? You can do a lot. You can do specialty inks on paper. You know what we've been talking about at this event here at Fujifilm, 5th and 6th color. It's amazing what you can do with the pinks, not just the pinks and the new green, but silver and gold. Just adding that ink adds a pop, right? But then when you get on the full embellishment side, the inkjet embellishment side, now you've got gold foil, silver foil, right? And the analog methods were so cumbersome and costly. The setups, the make-readies, it's just a lot of cost. Now, if you're running Colgate toothpaste boxes that have silver,
Probably
then
okay.
analog, because you're making hundreds of thousands of these things, right? But if you just want to do a brochure for a small business, now with digital foil and digital spot UV coatings, I can create something really special, 50.
I would like to go back to the Digital Manifesto, because I actually think it's a really good idea. If I should be the devil's advocate,
Sure.
just
Imagine
for the fun.
that, Morten. You being my devil's advocate.
But just for fun, of course, right?
Of course.
No, is the manifesto an unbiased promise, or is it a business plan for the Taktiful?
So it's not a marketing plan. It's not lead generation.
But you understand why I'm asking?
Yeah.
Because I read it.
It would be kind of a brilliant marketing plan, but it really isn't that.
Yeah, because I read it and I was like, I think it was great, and that was also why I signed it, right? But I was also like talking to somebody in the industry saying that, is this an attempt to
They're just trying to list build.
Yeah, but that is how the industry unfortunately also works from time to time.
Of course. Because why is that?
Yeah, it's because
we're always
it's changing.
We're always being marketed to.
Yeah, but it's also because it's change. right? And we always market to. So tell me a little bit the idea, and it was like 95 promises, right?
So there's 95 theses.
Yeah.
It came to me because, and I'm glad you make this point, because it's not list gen, it's not a marketing ploy, right? It's really, honestly, it's a tactful gift to the industry. And we want to create a rallying cry around tactile print, right? And stop apologizing for print and the cost of it and trying to do it cheaper and the race to the bottom. So we're planting a flag in the ground. We're asking people, hey, if you believe it, and you must have read something that you believed in to sign your name to it, sign on, let's work together to raise our ROI as printers, to make the value really known to customers. So it's that. And the reason, so I read a book in 1999 called the Clue Train Manifesto. So that's where this whole manifesto thing comes from. It was written by 4 different authors, but 2 of what, David Weinberger and Doc Searles. Doc Searles is one of my heroes. He's a brilliant thinker. And they made the argument in 1999, the internet now changes things, guys, because it's no longer broadcast, it's now a conversation. Because the internet allows customers to talk back to brands, not just brands to customers.
Yeah. And the brands that fails are the ones that don't understand that, basically.
100%. So this is in 1999, mind you. Like, that changed my entire outlook of business, because I'm just like, whoa, now it's a conversation. Now what can we do with that? And and what they think started in 2000. And we took a lot of those principles and said, okay, how do we now create that conversation within our industry based on that manifesto?
Was it difficult? Because, I mean, if you look back at 2000 and you got that inspiration, and I was just thinking that...
It was hella difficult.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that PR companies, sometimes the people that works in an industry, whether it's PSPs, converters, or OEMs, have always, until that point of time, been the one that broadcast, precisely. So it must have been like a tremendous change, right?
It was tough. I mean, in the early years, you got to remember, we were still on a print calendar. So everybody got their news every 30 days in a magazine, right? And what ended up happening, what the Clue Train Manifesto inspired me in terms of what they think was like, wait, this is a conversation now. So we need to be talking about this. Why are we just talking about it once every 30 days? Why is that? We need to talk about it every day. And people are like, you're crazy. No one wants a freaking email newsletter about print every day. We're like, okay, but as you've learned and the industry has learned, yeah, they have. So how many printed magazines are there versus how many newsletters are there today? But the point of the Clue Train Manifesto was, as we started to think about Taktiful and what we're doing, it's like, okay, how do we make that same kind of argument, not about the internet and business, but about print and what it is and where it's going and where we can take it. So Clue Train Manifesto, their main thesis was markets are conversations, right? Digital Embellishment Manifesto, our main argument is print is inherently tactile. Inherently. Yeah. Stop and think about that for a second. Yeah. Not adding tactile things, not embellishing it, not finishing it.
Just print, basically.
Print is tactile. It's always been tactile because you can feel it. Yeah. That's the beauty. And we've gotten away from it. We've gotten to the point where we have been treating print as an information medium that happens to be tactile. What we argue in the manifesto is print is tactile and it carries information.
You asked that, or you said that I must have read at least one thing that made me want to sign it. I can tell you, I read all of them. And I can't remember there was anything I disagreed with.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, but the reason why I signed it was basically because I think that we as I think that the term that I never really understood, but is widely used in America is like thought leadership, right? And that thought leadership that you present here is basically how to make our industry better in the sense of having a better ROI and a better profitability on the work you do. And that, I think, has enormous positive consequences if we can get it through to as many as possible. And therefore, I think it was important to make sure that the people that actually understand that try to use that also in the conversations that now you and I have now, for example, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. And what we talk about a lot at Taktiful is we are in the value era of digital embellishments. Why is that? Because you don't have a Revoria on every street corner, right? You don't have an MGI or a Scodix on every street corner. Like these are rare things. And that drives the value because there's scarcity of supply, right? And
that
that's
was
gonna,
also what with you and Kevin spoke
part of our
about.
presentation.
Yeah.
And that's going to change. So what we're saying is, get in now. Start doing it now. Start creating that value now. Because here's what we've learned is when people see embellished print, when people see print that pops or print that feels a certain way, when somebody hands you a business card and it's just flimsy paper.
I mean, we reacted because I got a business card from Mark from Horizon here, Standard Finishing here, right? And that was like soft
Soft touch.
Soft touch. It was rounded corners.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, and it was just like, so I asked him, so
You're
has
like,
that,
you started rubbing it, right?
Yeah, but I also asked him if that has given him new opportunities talking to people because that business card open for conversation, and the answer was yes, right? So it's not just a theory; it's actually an evidence, right?
It's so true.
Do you have your business card on you?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't actually.
So how
it's
does
totally
it,
embellished.
Okay, so just tell me how it looks.
So,
because that's also the funny thing about being embellished is that probably you can describe it better than if it was flat.
well, we say show, don't tell. So I feel stupid not having it to show you so that you can feel it. But it's just got silver foil on the front. On the back, it's got raised UV. So what we notice is when we hand it to someone, they immediately are like, they turn it over because like, why does that feel like that? And they turn it over. And right, what we've learned through a lot of studies, and there's a ton of behavioral economics and psychological studies that say, do you know this to be true? What was the first sense that you developed in the womb? It was touch.
Really?
It was touch.
I did not know.
At 8 weeks.
Okay, I did not know.
At 8 weeks, the touch sense is so formed that a baby in the womb can feel a hair brushing across it. We can feel. So touch is our very first sense, and it's our most ingrained sense that we have. So if we're affecting touch with print, and we inherently are, it's our superpower. It's our advantage.
So basically, it's like a reminder from when you were a baby in your mother's womb, right?
It's so deep.
Yeah.
It's so deep. So you'll notice, like when people see stuff, and here's the other thing that's fascinating, not to get too deep into the psychology, but I think it's fascinating. So there's an area of your brain called the homunculus, and it gives an inordinate amount of brain power to touch, right? So there's a funny little caricature that we show to physically represent that, and it's this caricature that has like really big lips, right?
Oh yeah,
for speech.
I have remembered because it basically sizes your
and
motions
really
on.
big hands for touch, right? So that's and what we don't realize a lot in the printing industry. That's our superpower.
Yeah.
Not color. Color's important. Not design. None of that. It's actual touch, getting people to touch. Because we know that if somebody sees a product, so we got to get them to see it, right? So the design is important, the color's important, the reflectivity is important. When that gold foil catches, you're like, ooh, when you walk by, right? And then but if you grab it, you know you are 67% more likely to buy that product. So what we say is when you walk into stores, just put your hands behind your back. Right? Especially if I'm in a whiskey store, because I will buy all of it.
But now you have to say goodbye to me.
Goodbye to you.
Thank you.
It was good to see you.
You too.